Welcome everyone to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. Tina McCrae, the overseer of Without a Trace Ministries, and I'm here to share with you today. I'm so glad you joined us, and I want to thank you for joining us for Wellness Wednesdays. And so, what we have a special guest that I'll tell you about in just a second. But let's talk about what reminds some people and introduce to others what is Wellness Wednesday. So let me share my screen for just a second and tell you a bit about what Wellness Wednesday is. So, with Wellness Wednesdays, we are out an Alter Dementia ambassador. What is Alter? It's to alter the way that churches, particularly African Americans, um, conduct their worship programs so that we can create dementia friendly services. So for us, we do things a little different because we're online ministry. And so we want to alter the way we present information to you, particularly people living with dementia and their caregivers. So as a former caregiver of a loved one with dementia, my mother, Barbara Jean Metcalf, had Alzheimer's disease, and she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. She started off with mixed dementia symptoms, and then she ultimately was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And with that, I got my certification as a certified dementia practitioner to help people, particularly in our community, understand and navigate this space of dementia. And so I created a nonprofit called BJM Dementia Services, Barbara Jean Metcalf Dementia Services, for people like you, so that you could have a place to come and learn about more information, to have fellowship, to have fun while you're learning, to have your felt needs met. So when people share their concerns with me, I make sure I find the resources, connect you to services and resources. And we have a dementia caregiver scholarship of $200 for people who are caregivers that need a break. And respite is more than just a timeout. It's a taking a step away from a situation that is hard, challenging, and sometimes uncomfortable, or it's a unpleasant. And it's true that sometimes we go through times when it's unpleasant and you need a respite. You need to take a step away. And we want to provide that to you with a scholarship of $200. And so we want to make sure that you hear a word from the Lord. So as we're talking, I might not always, we're not preachy, but you're going to feel like you know that you've experienced the word of the Lord. And then you're going to feel like you've been heard, because we have someone that monitors your comments and your questions, and they're able to submit those questions. So while this is a pre-recorded session, we will make sure that our guest receives your questions if it's something that we can't answer based on what he said, and we'll make sure you get those answers put in the chat. So let's move forward. One last statement I want to make is that while I do have a doctor on, I want to let you know that what we do at Wellness Wednesdays, we do not replace your primary care physician or your neurologist or any of that. We're not here to give you a diagnosis online right now. This is not a doctor's appointment. This is information, impartation, and we're going to share and give you an opportunity to reach out to Dr. Cantebury after we have our time together. So that's the main thing, that this is information, educational. We share information from Alta Dementia. We share information from AARP Staying Sharp. And then we have information from other resources like the one we'll have on today. So we want to make sure that that's clear, and that you understand that even if we do certain types of assessments and things like that, it's not to diagnose, it's just to help you understand what you're going through a bit better. With that, I'll stop sharing, and I want to welcome our guests. Today, I want to tell you, I met this awesome gentleman, and I believe a man of God. I met this awesome gentleman at the Alter Dementia Summit last year. Now, remember, I've been telling you all the Alter Dementia Summit is coming up this year, April 23rd through the 25th. And from that summit last year, I met Dr. Deleon, I believe that's how you say it. I'm sorry, Delon Cantebury. And this young man he touched my heart because of what he does in the medical field. And so we were talking about how many times, particularly African Americans, believe that if their doctor tells them they got to take a medication, they believe they got to take it for the rest of their lives, and they don't even ask a lot of questions. They don't look to see about drug interactions. Sometimes people just take stuff, and before people know it, they're up to 8 different medications. And so I used to work with a doctor, a functional medicine doctor, and he had told me once you get up to 3 medications that you're taking at one time, anything over that could start working against the other one and affect your organs. So when I he told me about what he does as it relates to medication, it touched me personally because there's members of my family that take tons of medicine, and I'm hoping that they will hear this and find a way to get off of some of that medication, find alternatives. So I want to not belabor any longer. And I may sound emotional because this is near and dear to my heart. And so I want to welcome you, Dr. Canterbury, to Wellness Wednesday. And I'd like for you to introduce yourself further and share with us what you do and why you do it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on this wonderful day. And to your members, thank you all for being here and tuning in. My name is Dr. Delon Cantebury. I'm the founder of a company called GeriatRx. We focus on medication safety. And we first believe in helping our loved ones age gracefully at home. And secondly, we believe that medications are slowly killing all of us, not just seniors, but the overuse of medications is a problem. And we create a protocol to help older adults wean off of potentially problematic medications while improving that quality of life and empowering caregivers, such as yourselves, on how to minimize harm from medication overuse. That is our life calling and that is our purpose. And we find often enough that providers aren't as trained in the world of medication safety. So we've decided to make this calling in empowering not just our community members, our church members, our faith-based members, but really clinicians as well, in being a bit judicious in how we look at medications and how we look at things holistically. So it's absolutely an honor to be here. I am a board certified geriatric pharmacist and started this company 7 years ago after seeing what my parents had to go through in taking care of my grandmother who was suffering from dementia. It
Mm,
led down a road of difficulty and stress and emotional turmoil, but we came to realize that one prescription was inappropriately used, in fact, was worsening and masking
mm.
all of her signs of dementia.
Oh,
Because of
wow.
that situation of, well, frustration my mom felt at a pharmacy refill, if she did not say some key words, it would not have triggered the pharmacist to advocate for what we call de-prescribing or removing medications that may not be working with the supervision of your provider.
Mm,
So we capered her off. In over 2 weeks' time, Granny Mildred came back to her normal self after we found out that that one medicine was the culprit. And she was able to live beautifully to the year of 90 years old because of that intervention, because of that pharmacist. And that's what
wow.
inspired me to be here today.
Oh my goodness. So, you said some key words. One, medication safety. Well, no, going back to one of the things we agree on and we want to see happen more is for people to be able to age safely at home. And I totally agree
Mm,
with you on that. And sometimes because of medication, you're thinking you're doing the right thing. This happened to us, and I'm okay with saying it that we were up to 7 days a week with having in-home services come and help us, and they would put my mom on medications that had her. It seemed like she was getting more agitated. I would give her stuff at nighttime, but she would get more agitated, and I'm confused. And then it was another medicine to counteract that medicine. And I'm like, oh my God. And then there was another thing. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, we don't do this. There's got to be a natural
Correct.
remedy. And so then, Dr. Canterbury, I started doing B12, thinking it was a B12 deficiency, and she was OD'd on B12 and myself. And so I didn't want to get it. And so we don't really, when we think about medication safety, we think about just hiding the medicine from kids and from people who have dementia. But medication safety, talk a little bit more about that. And has that been around and we just didn't know, or is this new?
Great questions. And yeah, I feel there's becoming more awareness about the impact of long-term use of medications. I don't think this was as popular in the past few decades, as now we're seeing a growing population of older adults. Older adults are living longer, and with more chronic conditions, they're living longer, and this generation likes to look for things that they can use to self-treat, over the counter or holistic, what have you. But med safety, in my eyes, includes the review of not just prescriptions, but also your herbals, also your vitamins, and
Mhm.
making sure that they don't interact with each other. Because sometimes even the food we eat can interact with prescriptions as well. So it's
Mhm.
important to know the balance between the two and have an ongoing review of your medications, with an accurate list. And really looking through with a fine-tooth lens, do I truly need this medication today? And have that conversation with our providers. But pharmacists, medication safety is essentially our middle name. We want to make sure that drug is safe and effective and appropriate. That is our legal duty for each prescription we may verify. The issue is if you're seeing over 500, 700 prescriptions a day, it can be a little difficult to catch everything. So it takes a
Mhm.
team effort to
Mhm.
ensure that there's good prescribing practice, but also is there good stewardship of adverse events, side effects? Is there communication? Do your clients even know how to administer the drug? There's so many levels of the flow that can affect what a medication may cause harm or good.
Mm. That's good stuff right there. My pharmacist that we've had for we relocated. So we had a pharmacist that we've had for about 20 years. And she would call me and say, "Hey, I noticed that your doctor prescribed you X, Y, and Z, but did you know that because you have this going on, this, and you're allergic to X, Y, and Z? I have a lot of medication allergies. Because you're allergic to
Mm,
this, I don't think this is a good formula for you. I think you should call them
mm.
back, and this is what I would like for you to talk to them about." And she would catch it for us. And even when I would come to I remember going to the counter with some vitamins, and she was like, no, Miss McCrae, you need to read that again. I'm pretty sure you're allergic to that. That's not going to work for you." And she was like, "No,
Yeah.
ma'am, we don't want you buying that." And so it was like really good to have a pharmacist. But you know what? She had to be, like you said, um, armed with information about me. And so and my
Right.
daughter has a certification in plant-based medicine from Cornell University, and she's
Mhm.
always on my husband and I about the herbs that we take and how they could interact with our medication. So talking to you who are online with us right now. How many of you actually tell your doctor in your mind, "Oh, they don't need to know what vitamins I'm taking. I mean, that's just vitamins. I can take vitamins in my medicine." So we
Mm,
say that to ourselves. "Oh, they don't need to know what herb teas I'm drinking. It's just tea. They don't need to know that." But guess what? These herbs and teas and things and vitamins that you're taking do have drug interactions. And so you
mhm.
must let your doctor know when they say everything, that's what they mean, because there could be a drug interaction. And then you talk about foods. Now, because one of the things I think about is grapefruit. Oftentimes they tell you don't eat grapefruit if you're taking X, Y, and Z. And so we need to pay attention to that because it actually could affect your body and the medication. And then you talked about overuse. Over time, because we don't think about when we start taking medicine and ask ourselves, how long? I have some family members whose kidneys have been damaged because they were on a high blood pressure hypertension medicine over a long extended period of time and didn't realize it was damaging their kidneys. While they'll tell us if you don't take medicine with hypertension, it'll damage your kidneys, but the medication, and then
Mm,
people know my husband, and you don't know this, my husband's a long-term HIV survivor. One of the medications that he took actually damaged his kidneys, and they have a class action suit out against them because of
mhm,
it. So he had
mhm.
started going down a path of renal failure because of that, and he's now having to see a kidney specialist to restore his kidneys and get him
Oh,
back
wow.
on track. Thank God. This doctor is very strict. He watches everything. And so my husband has been able to, maintain and get his kidneys damage under control. So, we can talk about that when you talk about overuse, it's not like we're abusing, it's just that, like you said, that extended use of medication. So what if, Dr. Canterbury, somebody is on a medication, should when do we have that conversation with our doctor about, hey, I've been on this for a while now? How do we have that conversation? And how often should people look at that?
Yeah, excellent question. I love to coach our clients to have a continuous, ongoing conversation to make sure that you're on as little medications as safely as possible. And there isn't really an age limit to start this. I generally see if people are taking more than five or more, that we try to make it less than five as a goal and ask regularly, what are some things I could do in my lifestyle or diet that can avoid me taking this medication? All right, what are some changes I can make? If it's regarding sleep, are there things I can improve in my sleep hygiene, right? Can I avoid looking at my phone or TV at night and blue light? Or do I have blackout curtains or weighted blankets? Have I tried aromatherapy, etc.? So thinking a bit holistically of what we can do, and also, like you mentioned, timeline is important. How long do I need to be on this? If you're on a course of antibiotics, that might be 7 days, 10 days. But some certain situations, some acute conditions can be handled in a week or a month. But some people are still on the medication months after the condition has been resolved. So again, there should be an ongoing dialogue. One that I see so often are acid blockers like omeprazole or Prilosec. People are
Mm.
on it for a one-time bout of GERD or heartburn, and now they're on it for life because they think they need it. But really, you've just built a dependency on it, and it may not be as bad as it once was, and you haven't stopped. And now it becomes tricky to get off of a medication because you're now depending on it to work. So there's
Mm.
so many different variations of what timing and necessity of the medication, the dose, is it appropriate? But again, ask your provider of each medication. Don't just go for, are you still taking this? Yes or no questions. Demand a consultation in full where you're looking through all the over-the-counters, the supplements, the nutrients, vitamins, prescriptions, and make sure there aren't any cross interactions between the two.
Mm. Good, good stuff. Um, there was how is this, what you do? Um, are there other people out there like you that's doing this? Because I'd never heard of it until I met you.
Yes, deep prescribing research is a growing and burgeoning field. I will say I kind of am a mixture between your integrative provider and your essentially your deprescribing advocate. I love to employ lifestyle changes first and non-pharmacological changes first before recommending a medication or prescription to use. But there is a growing field. I don't know of many that are, say, pharmacist in an independent practice. But, we work alongside your kind of your holistic healers, your chiropractors, your functional wellness providers. We have the same mindset and ethos. And I would also say geriatricians are big advocates for de-prescribing and medication safety as well. So pharmacists have been doing this type of work as a part of our job definition forever. Um,
Okay,
but I will say now where there is a global shift in research and science and prominent geriatric focused guidelines that are emphasizing the importance of less is more in how we treat people, particularly our seniors who are on too many meds. So yeah, definitely a growing field, exciting times to be in. But geriatrics as a company is a unique model in itself. I like not many are have a pharmacist at your beck and call who can review your meds anywhere in the world for you.
that's beautiful. Now, how a couple questions I'm sure people are asking is, does insurance pay for this type of service?
Yeah, great question. Insurance is not going to give you all the bells and whistles that our services provide. So currently, no, it is a private pay at a charge. We do have monthly installments that people can sign up for if they qualify, and we have one-time flat time fees. But we've also developed a nonprofit arm as well. So on a case-by-case basis, for those who might be financially constrained, based on your application, we're happy to donate on a scholarship one of our medication reviews for you.
Okay. So, did you say a medication review? So, because you know what? Sometimes when
Yeah,
people
yeah, definitely.
hear this, they will say, I can't afford it. I'm not, this sounds good, but I'm not gonna. And I didn't want people to give up on what you're talking about just because they're thinking their insurance wouldn't pay for it. So I kind of want people to hear what you had to say about that.
Yeah, definitely. So because of those situations where, concerns may come up, we develop a nonprofit arm that is aligned with donating medication reviews, donating for caregiver respite services, which we know you guys are a fan of, and addressing senior homelessness. So we
Mm.
don't want people to see price as a barrier. We want people to let their immediate concerns and questions be known. And we provide virtual consults in real time. So you're not waiting 4 and 6 months to be seen if there's an issue. We can become that surveillance system by looking at all your meds, looking at all your over-the-counters, seeing if you're wasting money on some things and maybe we could save a buck or two. We know drugs are getting more and more expensive. And then we become the basically the linchpin between which meds are considered problematic, right? Some meds can worsen your falls, some meds can worsen your memory, and some meds can worsen dementia. How do you
Mm.
know which ones are contributing to it? Um, that's what we do. That's our expertise, and that's how we can give you the peace of mind to know how to drive the conversation with your providers.
Oh man, this is wonderful. So, in wrapping up, I wanted to make sure that people know heard some key words. Number one, a surveillance system. People want that you have surveillance systems to make sure that you don't have intruders come into your home. People have the Ring doorbells now, or they have some type of doorbell with a camera on it to see what's coming at them, what's coming in your door. And so I heard Dr. Canterbury say that that's what they do. They can see what's coming into what? The door of your physical body. That this temple is belongs to God. And this temple, He's give us one. And so you want to take care of this temple the best way you can. And this is an opportunity for, like he said, while they do geriatrics, it's not just for geriatrics. You can help anybody, correct?
Yes, yes, that's right.
Wonderful. So if you're taking more than 5 pills, and I'd say more than three even, you should consider having this conversation with Dr. Canterbury. And I think there was something else you talked about. Um, the fact that they do the nonprofit private pay for people and they have respite programs. And you talked about senior homelessness. I go to Board of Commissioners meetings and people are concerned in the community about how taxes are being raised so high that seniors are being taxed out of their homes and they're becoming homeless. So this
Mm.
is a crisis situation that we have with senior homelessness. So you said that you all work with that as well. Can you tell us something about that briefly?
Yeah, so our aim is to raise capital to help donate funds to systems and organizations that are focusing against building homes for seniors, or at least providing a fund to go towards the unhoused seniors that might be out there. But that's been kind of a calling with my passion behind geriatrics is, if we're going to advance change within med safety, let's think about the other things around the corner that are also affecting our vulnerable population. And that to me is around respite services and homelessness in general. So
Hmm.
those are
Hmm.
passions near and deep to me that I want to grow this nonprofit side to continue to fundraise for. So we're looking for
Wonderful.
partners and looking for people who are aligned.
Wonderful. So, well, we can definitely be aligned with the respite side, and we too are looking for donors. And
Yeah.
how do people contact you, Dr. Canterbury? What's your contact information? I'll make sure I put it in the chat too, so we can post that up. Um, unless you want to
Yeah,
contact.
you could definitely find us on all social media. You could find us under geriatrics. Our website is geriatrics.org, GeriatrX.org. Yeah, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can also search my name and you'll find us. Delon Cantebury, I'm pretty easy to find as well. And then, of course, our website is where you can connect with us, get on our listserv, and we can email you newsletters, keep you posted on how things are going. And if there's a number you want to call, you can also call our office number, um, which is 910-390-0680. And I'll put that in the chat, 910-390-0680. You can call or text that number and you'll reach our team and we can get you on our calendar for your free complimentary 20-minute consultation.
Oh my goodness, wonderful. So that's GeriatRx, like your pharmacy.org. And then where are you
Mhm.
located with that 910 area code?
Yeah, we're located in Durham, North Carolina,
Okay.
but we see people virtually, so we can connect with you online or Zoom or Google Meet, and we can do meetings on behalf of your loved one.
Wonderful. So that phone number is 910-390-0680. And so again, we want to thank you so much for joining us on this Wellness Wednesday. It's really touched me and it's blessed my heart. And I'm sure it's a blessing to those who are on today and joining us online. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with someone to enlighten them or encourage them to think about prescribing their from their medication and the research?
Yeah. In the world of medications, it's always safe to ask, what is vital and important for me to live? And ask that question of all of your prescriptions and over-the-counter meds as well. Do it so much that it becomes a regular part of your provider intake between your, specialists and primary care. But leverage your pharmacist. We are more than available and willing to talk to you about the med list. Let us tell you if it's an aging friendly med list or not. And then if not, let's bring that to your providers and work together to minimize any harm.
Amen. So that's the thing is you have some people are having challenges about medication. I know some testimonies of people. One lady, husband got kicked out of a nursing home
Mm,
because he was acting out. He had gotten pretty aggressive, but she had been saying for a year something's not right with his medication, and they ignored her. So then he got kicked out. And so then we stood on that and we got help from Vision Nurse Health Systems to advocate for her about this. And when they start looking at his medication, it was in fact true. And they had to change his medication and they had to take him back. But had she not had proof that she had been advocating, key words is advocate. We must, just like in the back in the day, if you're a senior now and you had to advocate for your own career, We have to advocate for our right to vote. We have to advocate. Well, your health care is just as important as those other areas. And you have a right to speak up, ask questions, tell them they come in rushing in. You have them take a step back. And if you don't remember, you know what? That index card is a good way to start with your questions so that you don't get off track with about your medication and things you want to ask about. God has given us all that we need. First Peter, Second Peter 1:3. All things that we need that pertain to life and godliness. We can't forget about, we want to focus on the godly part, but He has given us people like Dr. Cantebury. He has given us wisdom like what this man has shared with us today. This doctor, this man of God has shared with us today about for life. And so you have what God has given you today for improving life as well as godliness. We hope that this has been a blessing to you and your family. And it doesn't matter if you have dementia or if you're just a senior or if you're someone that's dealing with cancer care or if you just are on a lot of medication. I'm going to put a hashtag in here, deprescribing, so that people, when they come across this on YouTube, they will see that they might need to tune into this themselves and reach out to GeriatRx. That's G. I'm gonna make sure I spell it right. Geriatrx.org to get you some help that you need. This is your day. Take advantage of it. Thank you, Dr. Canterbury. We appreciate you for joining us on Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.